Hi guys, welcome to Mark Teaches Music. This is our 6th episode, and today is June the 29th of 2022. Just I'm interested to know that myself. If you are interested in lessons, go to dallasmusiclessons.com, and there's information there, and or you can email me at mark@dallasmusiclessons.com, and you know in this, we're going to take any questions about music. I reserve the right to say I do not know. There's lots of things I don't know. Many things that I don't know about music. But I'll answer or say I don't know as soon as I can. You're supposed to subscribe to the channel. I need you to subscribe to the channel. I need you to, what else I need you to do? Click the button. I need you to, mostly though, right now, I need you to I need you to ask all your questions. Your questions are so useful, so excellent, and I've got a bunch of questions right here too. So anyway, and let's see here. So just want to remind you, everybody, that the theme is, or not our theme, or what we'd be saying is have fun, be awesome. That's what we're doing. So I want you to have fun, but I also want you to be great, and be have fun while you're becoming great. And so so there we go. All right, so I'm going to go to the first question, and see. The first question is. Let me say again, I don't prepare these questions. I mean, I don't. These are, obviously from my students and stuff. So I don't read and figure out my answer. So anyway, why should I learn music theory? Okay, now the reason you should not learn music theory is because you shouldn't. There's different reasons to not learn music theory. Music theory. First off, music theory and reading music are different things. So many classical players, not great classical players, but many very good classical players. I mean, most of the people that that play classical music that are not professionals, most of them would not know very much about music theory. They may know what key they're in. They don't necessarily know the chords they're playing. They don't know how the chords they're playing relate to what they're doing. I don't mean I'm a classical musician. I'm not downing classical music in any sense, and band music, orchestral music, any of that, or choir, choral music, where you have to read. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when you're reading a dot on the page and saying that's in F sharp, you don't necessarily know where that fits in the key, or if it's the third, or if it's an altered tone, or if it's the, what it is. So we're not learning about music, we're just learning to play music. So first off, learning music theory is not learning to play music. So you don't have to learn music theory to play music. Most people who play from notes don't know much about music theory, as a fact. Second thing, you don't learn music theory because you're a good person. You're a good moral person, and my gosh, it's so right to do that, because it doesn't make you a better person, and it doesn't necessarily make you a better player, because the first part of learning music theory, it's like a balloon or something, or launching whatever, the learning of music theory. A whole bunch of the start of music theory is just learning, the notes in the scale and things like this that aren't really helping you. But the primary reason for learning music theory is, and it's so vital, but it is a long-term thing. The vital thing about music theory, what it does for you, is first off, like for example, it would teach you. It depends on the instrument you're playing, right? And most people who learn to read notes, again, you're learning that the key of A flat's got 4 flats, B, E, A, D, is still just slightly music theory. It's mostly that. Hey, I'm not going to make this wrong note when I play my scale. So all the orchestral instruments, all the formal band instruments, orchestral band instruments, trumpet and tuba and clarinet and sax and oboe, bassoon, like that. So they're learning a scale, but they're mostly learning that to just not play the wrong notes, and that's nothing wrong with that. I agree with that. So the first thing you would get, let's say any instrument, but let's say look at specifically regular rock band instruments. You'd learn, hey, I'm in the key of D, and the classical player. This is all classical theory. I'm in the key of D. These are the key, the chords in the key of D. A D, an A minor, an F sharp minor, a G, an A B minor, and a C sharp diminished. And if I've been in the key of F, then F, G minor, A minor, B flat, C, D minor, and E diminished. That I'm learning those chords are in this key. So I'm playing in this key, and it's like I'm expecting or looking for these chords. I'm in the key of B. I'm not really looking for an E flat major chord. I'm not really looking for a G major chord because those aren't notes in the key. Those aren't built on the key. So I'm not expecting. I don't mean I'm an idiot. I just mean I'm probably not looking for those chords in the key of B. I'd be looking for a B, an E, an F sharp major, a C sharp minor, D sharp minor, and a G sharp minor. And perhaps an A sharp diminished. So I'm prepared to do that. Another thing from that is I can change keys. I can say this song's in A. Why the heck is it in A? Nobody can. I mean, in B. It's in B. Nobody can play it in B. And it's too high for a singer. Let's take it down to the key of A. And so I know what those chords are in the key of A. But again, bigger and bigger, better and better things come from that. So from that we get. I can play in this key correctly, and I'm talking about classical piano player, and I'm playing Bach. I'm playing Liszt, whoever I'm playing, and I start to understand the chords in a key and say, well, that's a B minor chord. That's the B minor 7 chord. So I'm reaching for notes that I know are a part of this chord. So it's not learning music theory and learning it like this is a part of the classical tradition, and many people in the rock, blues, country understand this. I'm in the key of G. I got a G, a C, a D. I got an E minor. I got an A minor, and they understand these things, but they don't know it as music theory. So I know the chords in this key. I know the chords in this key, so I can change keys. I can anticipate what the next keys would be in this song. And then the next step up from that is that I would start to hear songs, which you guys all want to do. You all want to hear songs. Oh my gosh, look at that shadow. Oh, sorry, can't do anything about it now. Just got a little raccoon face right there. But is that what we all want to do is hear our songs in analyzed. That is a 1 chord, not a G chord, a C chord, and a D chord, but a 1 chord, a 4 chord, and a 5 chord. So when I'm playing a song, I'm long time ago, and now am in the state of when I hear a song, I hear it as the 1 chord, the minor 2, the 5 chord, like a hard and soft. That sound is major 1, minor 6, minor 2, major 5. So we could do that in any key. It was in the key of B flat, it would be B flat, G minor, C minor, F. If it was in the key of E, it'd be E, C sharp minor, F sharp minor, B. And that's great because now, my ear's working for me. So I used this, I probably used this last week. For some reason it's in my head. And that is Brown Eyed Girl, which again, I think I said last week, is not my favorite song. But here's so it goes G D G D D C C C C G G D D D D. But I hear it as, and you should try to hear it as, learn to hear it as, 1 1 1 4 4 4 4 1 1 1 5 5 5 5. And when you start to hear songs analyzed like that, that is that you can hear what the 2 chord is and the 1 chord, or we're not talking about hearing, yes, but you see it. There's the 1, there's the 4, there's the 5. That means that you could play that in any key. And so you said it's too high, it's too low, so I'm going to do it in F. So it's going to be F, B flat, F, C. I'm going to play in the key of D. It's going to be D, G, D, A. So I'm going to go 1, first note, 4th note, first note, 5th note. And now I can play any song in any key because I understand it in an analyzer music theory way. And then the really best thing we want to get from that is that when you start doing that, you start being able to, instead of like the chord that you hear or the note that you hear, or the chords, specifically chords in this case, is any of, there's 1,000 chords it could be anything. Instead, what you start saying is, like, think about that song. How loud is that? I can't see. Let's get it over here. Yeah. Hey, did we go? So you start getting it where you can hear this. That's what the 4 chord sounds like in any key. So let's do it in the key of E. That's the one. That's the four chord. So you get to where you can start hearing what the four chord sounds like, and you start getting where you can hear that minor chord has got a seventh added, and you start getting to where you can hear that's the flat seven. You know, back to our G chord, because you're noticing. Well, you know, this song is in the key of G, and this song's in the key of D, but they've actually got the same, you know, major 1, 5, minor 6, like that, and you start going, oh, you know, and the hearing you hear starts cross applying. So you should learn music theory not to understand music. I'm a better person. Not to read music, because you can read music without understanding music theory, but mostly for ease of playing, staying in key, playing the chords in the key correctly, and then as that progresses, noticing that all songs, there's not that many different things to do in the songs, and they're very similar to one another, and then starting to educate your ear so you get to where you can play. When I say by ear, I think the perfect thing is that you could play by ear, you could play by notes, and you could play by feel. It feels right, it sounds right, I see it, and if we put those things together, three things, you will play the easiest and the most bestest and all these great things. Okay, so that's music theory, says I. Again, reading music is not music theory, and you can understand music theory thoroughly and use it and not read notes. It's harder a little bit because you don't have a lot of anchors, but that is true. Okay, what about mental health benefits of playing an instrument? Well, there's lots of very true studies. You know, basically, one of the reasons music is both hard and engaging, and people of all personality types love music for different reasons. I express myself. Wow, this is so intellectual. Wow, this is so hard to do. You know, all these kind of things, and I've got these skills and all these wonderful things. You know, is because music utilizes the right brain and the left brain. The right brain is your emotional heart, color, you know, beautiful sound, and I said the right brain, yeah, right brain, yeah, and the left brain is your math. You know, that was correct, and you added those numbers correctly, and so you know, music addresses both of those things, and it's very engaging, and there's all sorts of, you know, intellectual benefits, you know, from that. The only thing what I would like to say about it is that it is really good, and everybody, every one of my students and everyone listening to this you should take advantage of the mental reset that playing and practicing music provides you. You know, you've had a hard day, you're having a hard day, and you go and you even practicing, not playing. Although, well, anyway, so for a lot of people, just practicing. I worked on this scale. I worked on this, you know, solo, you know, and it didn't sound that great, but boy, I was all engaged in it. Provides a mental change. And another person would say, "Oh, I sat and I sang 3 or 4 songs, and I played and sang them, or I just sang them, and I just felt such a emotional release, and I felt relaxed, and I felt this was neat that I got to play these songs, and I ad-libbed on these tracks, and so an escape, and I don't mean like running away from, but just a reset from. So some people would have an ear / emotional, but I was very engaged by practicing and working on this. Somebody else would be, I was very emotive and gave myself over to my music, and I'm just telling people to take advantage of that emotional release, you know, of emotional change, you know. So you had a hard day, or you're working and you take a break and you take 30 minutes to do your songs or something like that. And lots of times when people are under stress and people are having a hard day, hard life, bad things are happening in life, it really helps to go to music and play music and make music as a way of changing topics, you know, changing focuses, and not getting so either discouraged or so, you know, wrapped up in whatever's going on. And then if everything was fine, it's for many people, it'd be like taking a shower or taking a nap. It'd be like, wow, I got to kind of change my way of thinking. Attitude adjustment, just by getting to play music. And there's lots of actual many documented things, and it really helps little kids, just as an example, develop both sides of their brain, and on and on and on. So, okay, so along those lines, what do I do when I'm discouraged? Well, you play music. So this is question number 3. So when you're discouraged with your music, and part of the problem with music is, I was actually going to say it in this thing, when really bad things happen, sometimes it's very hard to practice, because you're thinking, so-and-so's out of a job, and here I am playing my little diddly songs. What am I doing? So when we're discouraged, and I'm not at this point, I'm talking about, I believe this question is directed at what do I do when I'm discouraged about my music. I'm not doing well. I haven't. These are different things. I'm not doing well at it. I didn't do well. I am not practicing much. What a slacker I am. So first one, I'm not doing well. What a loser I am. I'm no good. I'm not practicing much. What a slacker I am. And none of these things are true, probably. But when you're discouraged, what you should do is, with your music, you should do the most fun thing you can think of. So again, if you're taking lessons with me, for example, you'd have a list of things, some things you need to be doing, some scales, some theory understanding, some ear training, some songs. You'd have things. I'm not pointing at me, my songs, my way of teaching. I'm saying, as an example, you would have these several things, and hopefully whoever you're taking lessons with, or you're not taking lessons at all, you're just working, you have these different things you're doing. So anyway, point is, look at those things. You're discouraged. You're like, oh man, or you just don't want to do it. You've been just like, oh, I don't want to play today. Oh God, not again. So then the point. So what you would do is you'd say, well, look at those things on all these cases, and pick the most fun thing on that list to do, if you can. So you're looking at that, and I really don't want to do these exercises today. And I mean, I'm not talking about, really and truly, it doesn't matter too much if you do this for a day. And what I'm saying is you come in one day and it's just something bad's happened, or you came in, whatever, and you just for a day you're trying to encourage yourself. That's exactly what you should do. And remember, and if I had said it recently, you haven't noticed me saying it, is that we're managing our attitude is a good third of becoming a musician. Is like getting not just your skill and not just your practice, but like I said, I'm discouraged today. So how do I get past that? Which is what this question is about. So for a day or two, if you need to, you can just do whatever seems like the most fun thing to do. And I don't think it'd be your scales and exercises, but for a few people it would be. And also up to the point of which, because there's a deal with music, not music theory, but learning music. You have these things you're trying to do. There's a deal with it where it's just funny. It's the absolute truth. Some student can come in and go like, I love this song. Can we please do this song? Oh, I just got to do it because it's just me. I want to do it, please. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's do that song. And then the next week they'll be like, I hate this song. I don't want to do this song anymore. And it's just because it went from their organic, heart song to quote unquote the teacher, you must do this song now. And so now it's legalism in the law instead of just fun and happiness, and so which means that the psychological aspect of that. But so including from past just doing the song, your song, to just getting on YouTube and singing along with tracks, or playing along with tracks and downloading a backing track and song you didn't know, or getting on Ultimate Guitar and just downloading songs, or just getting and read them and play them, and boy, that was crappy, but it was fun. I always wanted to play that song, and just having fun and remembering why are you doing this? Why are you working on your music? Because music is beautiful. Music and making music Making music is worth the effort. So making music is worth the effort. It's like you think about, why am I doing this? Because I love that song. Just like a, well, what was it? Crossfire came and it's all right now. Back to the gas. He's like, what is going on? You're like, whoa, that is so cool, you know. Or you're thinking about this, you know, Bach, B minor, you know, and you think, wow, that is such a beautiful, amazing thing. Well, just jump in there and do that. You know, good or bad, you're having fun. You're remembering, why do I do that? I just love this music. I'm singing this song and it's just expressive. So when you're discouraged, you need to focus on encouraging yourself. And you go to the funnest thing and you can ramp that fun up. If you, and you as yourself, need to be looking at your own, I'm going to say attitude. I do mean attitude, but it's like, if you're discouraged a lot, obviously that's going to affect your progress. You have to play your instrument, including the voice. The voice is an instrument. You have to play your instrument some to make progress. So if you're discouraged a lot, you need to start looking at more consistent ways to encourage yourself and to stay in it. Which a measure of it might be, you know, quit being so discouraged about things that you really like. You really love music, and you know you got to practice some, you know. But for lots of people, just a big, huge part and a wonderful part that they learn to do and need to learn to do is managing being discouraged, I don't want to practice, you know. It's really funny that no matter how, just as I can tell, no matter how old you are, doesn't mean that you've conquered your you know, I don't wanna do that. Your body or your mind is going, no, I wanna eat some more ice cream. I don't wanna eat those peas, you know. And so it's like, and so you're doing the same thing, you know. I don't wanna stop, you know, watching TV and go practice. I wanna, you know. So there's some of that managing in there, and but usually if you look at it and figure it out, hey, you know, which part of this is genuine. You know, like I've had a really hard week. I've had a hard 2 weeks. I've been working a lot, you know, different stressful things. It just would be a good day to just do some fun stuff, you know, versus for the last 2 months I have not practiced more than 2 hours total. So then you're like, well, you know, how am I going to squeeze practice out of this? So why do you want us to keep our stuff in an orderly notebook? Okay, I see that question. I'm coming to it. Well, most of you don't have an orderly notebook, you sorry dogs. But the reason I want you to keep your stuff in a freaking orderly notebook, that is such a good question, but I know you guys who aren't taking lessons just like, what? Why are you saying that? But anyway, is because people spend it's time to do your song. And instead of going, here it is, they go like, oh, wait a minute, is it here? Let me see. You know, where's that? Let's do that rhythm thing we're going to do. Let's work on that. Did you write your scales for me or whatever? You know, and whatever we're trying to do. And it's like they can't find it. It's at home. It's on the piano. You know, and it's like, it doesn't mean people can't make mistakes, but an orderly notebook so that you can get to the stuff you need quickly as possible. Use both your lesson time and your practice time as efficiently as possible. Efficiently doesn't mean legalistic. It means you got 40 minutes to practice and you get really close to 40 minutes of actual practice in, and not, you know, 20 minutes because you're fiddling around with your papers and can't find anything. Where's my metronome? Where's the song I was going to sing? You know, so orderly notebook, just so you can put your hand on it and move on. Okay. Is there a point you should just consider a completely different instrument? Absolutely. The only thing is what we have to care. Yes, it's fine to change instruments, not in the caveat is not in a fickle manner. I'll change instruments, and then 2 months later I want to change instruments again, and 4 months later I want to change instruments. You know, so there's a lot of different reasons people use or choose a certain instrument, and I completely understand. And you know, I gave the example last week or 2 weeks ago. I mean, like if you, by the way, if you know anybody who's in the band, the choir, the orchestra, including yourself when you were I'm talking about 11 through 18, and not just that. And in a band, a rock band, when you're young like that, and it's like, oh, I never did good, you know. I never played the clarinet. I hated it. And I just was saying last week that, including if I was the band director, I'd have a hard time. It's like, I need, I need, a bunch of clarinet players. I need some trombone players. I need a tuba player too. I don't need 72 saxophones. And so so a lot of you guys learned instruments that you really didn't like, and a lot of people in various circumstances are learning music they don't like, and it's for different reasons. Mama told me, you got to do that, or I just thought it was right. I've had a bunch of people start lessons and they go like, well, first I want to learn classical before I get down to learning metal because I want to do it right. I really love metal, but I better learn classical. And it's like, well, no, if we learn good techniques that won't hold you back in classical or metal, let's just go for the metal since that's what you like. You don't really like this classical music. So anyway, so the same thing with the instrument. So I think the best way to determine what instrument you should be playing. Now this is a very broad, look at me using my screen size. Look at this hand back, there you go. This is a very broad statement. It doesn't cover absolutely everything, but I think what you should do, what a person should do, is just pick the different instruments and either listen to what they do, what they really do, not what you wish they would do, what you think they would do, but what they do, and mess about with it, like listening to different instruments until you say, I like that, and not like there are more than one jazz oboists. Okay, so there's more than one. It's not. I mean, there's quite a few, but not thousands, but dozens. But that is not what an oboe usually does. So you could say, and I'm just saying, I think this would be dumb to play the oboe to play a jazz oboe. So I suppose you could play jazz harp. I suppose you could play, jazz bassoon. I guess, jazz French horn. I'll show you sometime a recording of jazz tuba. It's really dumb sounding, for different reasons. So anyway, most of what an oboe does is classical and orchestral band, concert band, beautiful, lovely things. So that's what you should listen to. What does this instrument usually do? Like a guitar. Some instruments are very, very broad. Guitar and piano are basically those. And so with piano, you would say, first off, what do I love? What do I say? I love the blues. I love blues piano. I love, And so listen to them and go like, the blues pianist or guitar, let's say, I love progressive rock. Progressive rock guitar. So you listen to that progressive rock guitar, and you're making those decisions on what you want to play based on what those guys did. And like I said, the guitar and the piano are very, very broad. Most instruments are much less broad, and including me. My first instrument, real instrument, or formal, I suppose, was a saxophone. And I was actually pretty much unaware, just not thinking about that there was a jazz saxophone, or there was blues, or there's sax and rock, and there was sax in rock. It was more just that we had a band. I'm talking about I'm 10. In Mississippi, you start the band when you're 11, and I was I started a little young. So anyway, the point is, it's time to be in the band. Okay, I'm in the band. Like, well, it's really cool music, but it never occurred to me that it played this other music. So anyway. So I'm saying I'm in those people originally would be like, I'm playing the saxophone. It's not because I'm sure I said I wanted to play the saxophone, but I doubt if it was like, oh, the saxophone is me. It was probably just, hey, look at that saxophone there. Or maybe they told me they needed saxophones. I don't know. It was a long time ago. So you should play the instrument you like. You should not change fickly. And I mean, I'm defining that only changing is not fickle. Changing is not fickle. Changing back and forth, and not every 5 years. Every 5 months. That's fickle. Fickle is in, again, like I said about the songs a minute ago. So I'm not kidding. This happens all the time. I love this song. I want to do this song. Okay, that's your song. Come back next week. I didn't do the song. Why not? Oh, I don't like this song anymore. Okay, what song would you like to do? This happens all the time. What song would you like to do? This is the second new song. You know, oh, I like that. That's a great song right there. Let's do that. Okay, cool. All right, second week. Go back. Go do that song. Come back next week. Oh, did you practice? No, I don't like that song either. You know, so that person doesn't have a problem with the songs. You know, because again, it's a big part of our lessons that we want you to play songs you like and are inspired by with great technique, so that you can change or upgrade or whatever. So anyway, so it's not wrong to change instruments. To make your decision, you think about what those instruments play, how they play, you know, and then a little caveat, a small little caveat is, you know, I'm just making stuff up, but I'm not making it up. I'm saying there's a little bit of details of reality in there, like, you know, you're a 12-year-old kid and y'all don't have a piano or a keyboard, and so you can't just go, I'm gonna play piano, you know, or you want to play classical piano, and you realize, I'm making this up. You play classical piano, and you realize, which is true, you're not going to be able to transport a classical piano all over the place. You know, you live in a trailer home or something. You know, and it's like, well, you know, I need something more portable. Some people, I would say, the majority of people have some flexibility in what they could play that would make them happy. That is, they're not just like, oh, you know, oh, I finally found my, you know, but rather it's like they could be happy playing multiple things. Several different things would make them, choosing one thing would be fine, and there would be several possible choices that would make them happy. Now, it is true that in each instrument, like, I'm just talking, it's just an interesting point. If you look at a band, a rock band, a jazz band, but let's say a rock band, be a better example, 5-6 people. So there's a drummer, there's a bass player, there's a guitar player. Let's on our band, let's put a keyboard player. The bass player, for example, is typically, he could be crazy, but normally he's a kind of laid back, kind of straight, you know, kind of playing, and he may be having fun and stuff, but he kind of, this is not absolutely true. There's crazy bass players, but I'm just saying in general, the people who are kind of attracted to that are people who are kind of want to be in the back and want to be efficient and very good, but they don't want people look at him necessarily. And the same thing for rhythm guitars. If you say, I want to play rhythm guitar, I just want to strum and I'll play these really amazing things, really cool things, really solid things, but I don't want people to point me out. That's another temperamental thing. Drummers can be back and forth. More of them are probably aggressive. And it's not, I'm not telling you to make that decision based on your personality. I'm just saying, you know, like I said, pick the instrument you want based on what that instrument does. And if you spend a little while thinking about it, you should be able to come upon a trail of, oh, I see a bunch of these guys, I'm going to make this up, you know, the flute. I see a bunch of flautists, and they're playing, I really like that. You know, I like this. In general, flute would be classical, but, you know, you run into Hubert Laws and Herbie Mann, you're like, you know, jazz flautist, and you're like, that's freaking amazing. I want to do that, you know, which is great, you know. And again, you want some little definement, some little strength to your decision, so that you hold you in place, especially if you're fickle. But again, fickle is not changing. Changing is not fickle. Changing a lot is fickle, and changing 3 years or 4 years is not fickle. You're still trying to figure out what you like. Maybe, possibly. Okay, what do you do if you're playing with a group and you get off the beat, mess up, fall behind? Well, first thing, as you know, in the live, I'm talking about either rehearsal or certainly performance, you figure out where you're supposed to be and you jump in and you get there. And you're minimizing the mistake, the problem. I'm assuming this question is, I can't keep an even beat, and I miss beats. I play a 2-beat measure. I play a 5-beat measure. All that kind of stuff. I can't follow the chart. You know, that kind of stuff. So it's not like. It's so like that. So anyway, so typically what you need to do is you need to work. When I say work on your rhythm, I mean you actually need to work on rhythm counting. That is, you need it'd be better to do something a little more formal than this, but I'm going to make this a non-formal thing. So you put on a song, and you go, oh yeah, that's right. We have the evil, any reference to any song, the copyright people will come and say, oh, that was our song. Don't you dare do it. So and I don't even know if I play anything. Here. Let's just see what happens. Okay, there we go. That's right. That's crazy. There we go. There we go. Okay. I don't know what this is.
Hot and cold.
Let's see if this is loud. Okay. So I'm saying this is stupid, but so I'm saying I'm trying to work on my counting. So I can count this as, I'm doing this so you can see me. I can count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope it's going to change chords. I really hope so. Hadn't done it yet. Okay. Well, I'd hope that it would change chords.
Suburban
okay, here's another one. I like this song. This is just a 3, 4, 1, 2. You're physically listening to songs you like, and first you're just, where's the beat? You're just listening to a song. As soon as you feel like, yeah, I'm not happy. I want the chords to change. Here's a different song. Here's my beat. So as soon as I establish that beat, come out, I'm doing it. Then I'm going to go find the measure, 3, 4, and you're physically, it'd be good to do this one, or you can do it out loud, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is funk, and that other song was rock, and it didn't change chords enough. But if I was, and so hearing where the chords change, and what everybody needs to do, what you always do when you have a problem, is you isolate the problem area, and then you divide it out into something you can work on. And that could mean that you slowed it down. But in this case, we're saying, okay, I'm having a trouble with rhythm, with losing the count, and I have intimate contact on a daily basis with people who also, in addition to that, refuse to actually count, and they just act like they're going to somehow, through osmosis, just going to be able to count right. And look, in our initial seminars, we talked about 7 deadly practice sins, and one of the first ones is, or the first one is, there are people, and maybe 30% of people, 60% of people who are famous, they are naturals. They don't know, they're great musicians, awesome freaking musicians, but they're not necessarily counting, or they're counting, what it is they're counting so naturally and automatically that almost they don't count. So to me, there's change, here I'm going to play this tone, it's like that. Everything they're doing is automatic, is natural, it feels correct. They're super tactily skilled, perhaps, they have a great ear. But if you're not one of those people, and that's not just the famous people, there's at least a third of the famous people who work their butts off and fill all those empty gaps, the things that they can't do. But unless you're successful not counting, and just do it by ear, and just it all works out. Unless it's working out, then you have to apply the work method, which is, I'm having problems counting, so I'm going to practice counting. And first, we need to hear the beat. People are going to listen to songs that go boom, 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 boom. That's not a beat. You can't replicate that into something you can carry through the whole song. So you need something that in that even beat. And again, once you get an even beat, then you can start doing measures. Do you have to do your fingers like that? No, but you do have to identify 3, 4, 1, and you're listening to all your favorite country songs, all your Hank Williams Jr. songs, all your Cody. Just fill in the gap. All 10,000 newer guys named Cody, and 5, 6 guys named Jason, and there's 1 or 2 guys named Aldine. So, okay. So the point is you work on your rhythm. I'm not being smart aleck about that. I'm saying you work on your rhythm. So let's see. What is the easiest way to find a harmony? Um, we talked about harmony several times. Harmony is easy to describe and hard to do. Not hard to do. Hard to do on half of the songs. Less than half of the songs would be like really straightforward. But the basic idea: here's a chord. All music is there's two. In our modern music, there's harmony and melody. Harmony is a group of notes that are happening simultaneously. Melody is going across. Melody agrees with the harmony, but doesn't have to do only the notes of the harmony. So the basic idea: here's a chord. I'm gonna play a D chord, and maybe my melody note, the lead guy's going ha. He's got the middle of those notes. Da, ha. Another note is there's ha ha. The lower the note ha and ha. So the guy's singing ha ha. So here's the chord is da da da, and the melody's this note, and then I'm gonna go up ba 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 ha or ha ha. I'll go ha. So, and if you play an instrument, you find the melody note. This is the easiest way. If I'm doing that by ear, right? You may be able to do it by ear. If you can do it by ear, don't do this. But if you can't do it by ear, find the melody note that's being played and play notes in the scale of the key you're in on your instrument until and it'll be 2 notes up, or 2 notes down, possibly 3 notes down or 3 notes up. And it's like, hey, that note works with the chord, and then start singing that note. And then most people, the huge majority of people who sing harmony well have learned that by ear. 98%. That singing harmony in a classical, and again I said last week I was in the Loyola chorale, which I just loved. So you're reading classical music, hard music, you're singing a harmony part, but you're not defining a harmony. You're learning a part that is a harmony. So that is not exactly the same thing. So we're talking about there is no harmony, you create a harmony, what we're talking about. So when I say it's a long road, I don't want you to be discouraged by me saying that. I just mean it more like recognize that even though you get what to do, and I said what to do, and you're trying what to do, and then that's what you do. So here's what you do also. So find a song that you love, and the chords aren't going, the chords are not going, the chords are not changing real quick. The chords are going, I'll tell you. The chords are moving along slow. Single person singing. So I got going, I love you so. He's holding out his notes long. And lots of famous songs are like this. He's moving his notes slow. So what you do is here's some time. And you try with, like I said, you try to find him. He goes, I, and you go, ha, wah, ba, ba. He's going, I love you so. You go, ha, ha, ha. You go, I love you so. So you take a slow song. Chordal motion is slow. Chords aren't changing quickly. The guy singing is singing fairly slow. There's no harmony part. And then you try to add a harmony to that. Conversely, you can take a song that's kind of like that. It has one harmony part, one person singing harmony, and you learn what that guy is singing, and that's giving you an example of what you're trying to build up to be able to do. Okay, last question here is, how do I avoid quacking on a saxophone? Well, the two things you need to do are, three things. First is the smile whistle exercise, which is this. The basic idea, you need to strengthen your embouchure. And the embouchure is from the French word for your mouth, the bouche. Anyway, so it's how you hold your mouth. And So we have sets of muscles that hold our pull back and push forward. We have a different set of muscles that push down and push up. So the smile whistle exercise, you smile very tightly, and then you pucker, and you hold it, and you pucker, and you hold it, and you pucker. So that's smile whistle. You do that 25 times at a time. It'll take a minute. And then you do it 4 times a day. And this would go for all of the instruments that have like a oboe, a bassoon, a clarinet, a sax, something in your mouth. And then the second exercise is the lip line exercise. And the best way to look at this is you get your Apple pencil. No, you just get a pencil, and you're just imagining it's like I'm holding this pencil. And my teeth are separate, and I'm squeezing tight as I can, and I'll hold that for 10 seconds. And then do that 10 times a day. And that's strengthening these muscles, and the lip line strengthening these muscles. Now, when these muscles are strong, all of them, where look, here's your teeth, and here's your teeth, and the thing is you can open your jaw. And so you open your jaw, not like but just open your jaw just a quarter of an inch, an eighth of an inch. And now you're not squishing that mouthpiece and making it squeak and all like this. And the second thing is open up in an ah sound, open up the back. And so we're creating a better resonating chamber back here in your throat. So you drop your jaw and open up here. And the thing I said about those 2 exercises is that the reason I mentioned them is because this embouchure is going to be strengthened. I'm talking about if you're in band, let's say, or a band. If you're in the band, you play for 3 years, yeah, your embouchure is going to be strong, and you're not going to squeak so much and all that kind of stuff. But you don't want to spend 3 years waiting for that to come about. You like for that to happen in 2 or 3 months. So you do those exercises, and so basically, smile whistle, lip line where you're pushing. My teeth are apart. And then as a result of the strong muscles, when I have, this is my teeth, so I can open my teeth just a tad, a little tiny bit, to let that reed vibrate, and then open back here for a beautiful sound. Yes, and also helps to listen to great players. And you go like, I want to sound like him. And then that becomes a model for you for what you're trying to do. Okay, I'm done. I don't see any other questions. And I'll see you guys next week. And thanks a bunch. And let's see, I got to push in stream. Okay, see you soon.